And welcome, everyone. It's great to see so many people. It's a great topic, I think. Anything AI related is really attractive to people. I think people are getting over their fear of using AI tools. And ChatGPT is definitely on the top of the list for the AI tools that I hear that everybody is using. So, first off, I wanted to start before we dive into our topic of the new things related to ChatGPT. Just a couple of things that I wanted to mention. There have been a lot of changes to AI in general over even the past 3 months. There's been a lot of changes. Some of the changes that I'm going to be talking about today may go back to like April. So if you've been using it for a little while, there might be something that I mentioned that came out in April or came out in January. But recently they've had some updates to those features. So it's a constant improvement. They are ChatGPT is just evolving in every minute, I swear, of the day. They're evolving into giving us better, easier to use capabilities. And you're going to see some of those, of course, here today. I seriously get the shivers when I think about the way that we work today versus the way that we worked a year ago. So lots of new things, but some of the things do require some of the enhancements, some of the new features that came out do require a certain version of ChatGPT. I tried to make sure that in the handout it states which version of ChatGPT you need to have to use a specific feature, but some features are only available in certain countries as well. Um, I was reading an article the other day, which was a surprise to me. I guess I didn't really realize this, but they'll test some of the features in certain countries because of the number of users and different algorithms and different things that they have going on in the background. And then they start releasing it to more and more countries. So just so you know, everything that is part of the latest features and updates may not be available to every version of ChatGPT and may not be available in every country, depending on the country you're in. And as always, definitely follow your company's AI policies when it comes to using any AI tool. Not just ChatGPT, but Copilot, Gemini, any of the AI tools, which there's hundreds, thousands of them out there these days. Always follow your company policies. What your company states in their policy, you need to make sure you do, because there's some features we're going to talk about today that I work with a lot of companies to develop their policies, and not everybody allows some of these features to happen. So just wanted to make that disclaimer before we get started. So Matthew had a disclaimer. I guess I'll throw a disclaimer in there too for us today. But first off, what exactly is ChatGPT? So if you're brand new to ChatGPT, you're in a good place to be attending this. You're going to learn more about what the program does, but we're going to be focusing a lot on what has been changed or what's been enhanced lately, but you'll still have an opportunity to learn what exactly is this application. Well, it's amazing that it's actually been out since 2022. It's crazy to think that we've had these AI tools readily available to us since then. So, like other AI tools that are available, ChatGPT is a part of AI. It's an application that we can use on any type of device as long as you have an internet connection. There is an app for your mobile device. And I'm going to actually be talking, I wish I couldn't get logged in quick enough before we started the class today. I could remember my password to log in on my phone because I don't use it as much on my phone. But there's some features that we can actually go from desktop on the internet to your phone and continue a conversation and things like that. It's pretty cool. So it's good to have a paid for account, but there is free versions of ChatGPT as well. So what we do with ChatGPT is talk with it. Literally, we can talk with it. And that's actually been enhanced, so that'll be on our list of topics that we discussed today. But ChatGPT, I swear, can do just about anything. We were chatting, Matthew and Bernard and I were chatting before we got started, and it's amazing to me what people are now doing with ChatGPT. So when we talk about exploring, explore. That's what you need to do. Test it. See what it can do for you as an organization, you as an end user. There are a couple of things that I will talk about that are more on the personal side of using ChatGPT, because I got to tell you, I use things business wise and I use them personal wise. So you might even see some of that in my ChatGPT history when I show you that. But how do you get to ChatGPT to begin with? You can just go straight to their website, chatgpt.com. So just so you could see, this is actually what it's going to look like when you do log in. So depending on, of course, the license that you have, where you log in or when you sign up, it might be a little bit different. But I'll get into the pricing here in just a moment. But I did want to mention just what are some really reasons people go to ChatGPT. So when we talk about these new features, what can you actually do with these new features? So some practical examples. If you're in the marketing department or the sales department, it's unbelievable what you can actually be doing in ChatGPT in those types of industries. You could be doing social media content, you could be doing email campaigns, you could do marketing research, customer drafting letters, drafting emails to customers, responding to things. Customer service wise, we have a lot of things customer service wise that we could be using it for. So I wanted to mention these because I want you to be thinking about, especially when we talk about these new enhancements, how can you be taking even further advantage of using Copilot? So if you're in customer service, you could have a response template. Here's our most common questions that the service staff gets asked. Here's our standard responses that we want to have. We can even have agents be a part of that. We'll mention those a little bit later. It can help with policy and procedures on how you're supposed to handle things in customer service. Or if you're in operations and production, it can help you write your standard operating procedures, help you with anything that's repetitive, helping you with meeting transcripts, kind of figuring out based on, here's our meeting transcripts, what are some action items out of that? Whether you need project planning, it can help you with your milestones, your resource lists, helping automate tasks, helping you with macros, with formula, with code, whether you're using Google Sheets, you're using Excel, etc. If you're in HR, it can be used there. I use it in HR related features all the time. If I have somebody that's going to be starting in a new position, I can have incoming employee steps and guides and job descriptions and helping me with better interview questions. That whole onboarding materials, it's amazing what we can do. Now, I definitely use it for finance and reporting as well, whether I need a KPI dashboard. I want to work on creating a form that's going to be used for expense for people to submit expenses and upload their receipts, those kind of things, cost analysis. I help it write just about anything, whether it's going to be the Word document, it's going to be the PowerPoint presentation, it's going to help me with my speaker notes. Sky's the limit, really, when we think about what ChatGPT can really be doing for us. So keep these in mind as we kind of start going through what can ChatGPT do. So you're probably wondering, what is the number one feature that has been kind of enhanced or changed in ChatGPT in 2025? Well, I'm going to tell you, I know exactly what that answer is. It's GPT-5. You probably have been hearing about it, but GPT-5 is the latest model of chatting, a system that works in the background as we are chatting with our AI tools. So with ChatGPT, with Gemini, with Copilot, doesn't matter which one you're using, they all are using this new GPT called 5. I'll talk about 6 at the end of our session here today. But think of these when we talk about these models, GPT-5, GPT-4, GPT-3, etc. These are like versions of an application. So if we think about Windows as an example, we went from Windows 98, etc. Now we're up to Windows 11. Of course, Windows 10 now is no longer a supported product. We have Windows 11. So kind of think of these GPTs as being like different versions of your operating system. Or, we used to have Office 2013. We now have 365, that kind of thing. That's what these are like as well. So each model, of course, gives us enhancements. GPT-5 has been the biggest step so far. But keep in mind that each model of these GPTs is trained up to a certain point. So these are all trained models. So it is trained with the most current information, October 1st of 2024. So when we talk about utilizing these tools, utilizing these, yes, we can go out to the internet and search for things, but the way that it was trained, the information is only as good as October of 2024, just so you're aware of that. But this new GPT has so many different enhancements to it. Like I said, this is the biggest model upgrade that AI has ever seen. It has totally enhanced the thinking mode of how it actually works as an engine. It's called a large language model. And the way that when we give a chat to the system and we ask it a question, it takes each word and kind of parses it together and then figures out what it is that we're asking it for, and then goes to its large language model and comes back with the answer based on what it has discovered. Now it's doing all of that in a split second, which is amazing. But GPT-5 has built-in options for study modes, thinking modes, personality and voice. It has what is called smart switching built in. It has more developer tools that are built in. This has been such a huge step up from our old models that we had. Even 4 was great, I thought, but I can't wait till 6 comes out now, because it's like, what can they change? What can they really enhance? I thought we really had everything figured out already. Now, of course, we'll be going through some of those GPT-5 enhancements to talk about what exactly is the benefit for us of using this. What's the big deal about it? We'll go through what those are. But just so you can kind of see a little history, I'm always interested into the history of kind of where we've gone with these. So back in 2018 was the first GPT. Then we had 3. We had GPT back in 2022. There were a few different models that started coming out from 2022 until our last GPT-4, and now, of course, 5. 5 technically came out in August of this year. Okay, August of this year, just so you kind of, for time reference, just so you know when it came out. There's been a lot that has happened just in these past couple of months. But it does this deep research, this more deep analysis. You'll see that word deep analysis in a lot of things that are describing GPT-5. Okay. Now, as we go through these different features, I can't demonstrate absolutely everything. I will do the best that I can, but it's all based on my version of course, what I have for ChatGPT and the country I'm in. Like I was saying earlier, we have some things that I can't always demonstrate, and some things are still in preview mode. Not everything has been fully released. Some are still coming. As a matter of fact, I thought they were supposed to be out by the end of October here. I know we're not quite at the end, but we're getting pretty close. There's still some enhancements coming by the end of 2025 that we'll talk about at the end. But then there's also some that are coming in right away in 2026. But we have this feature that is built in called this deep research, where we can actually have different connectors to third-party applications. Now, it did start a few months back that we were able to connect to these other systems, but please keep in the back of your mind, when we talk about some of these systems, remember your AI policy with your organization, because the key to this is, should we? We can, but should we? So you always want to keep the security things in the back of your mind as we talk about these. We'll talk a little bit about the security side. Okay, but the security side always tells us, don't put anything confidential out there. So think about connecting with another system with this AI tool, and think about, should you connect to it? Is it going to be connecting to confidential information? We now can connect to a lot of different types of systems. There's different types of connectors. There's different types of apps that we can directly connect to now. We have connectors like chat search connectors. These are designed for quick, one-off searches that we can be doing. We could tell it to look at this particular file and search through that file for specific information. It's been doing that. It's always done that. But the way that it does it and the answers we get back are definitely enhanced. It can do a lot more on the deep research. So it's talking about the deep research connectors. It can do a lot more than it ever could before. Like, for instance, you can ask it, summarize everything we shipped in the last 2 quarters based on this particular category. We could have it be connected to a system that has that information, direct connection, without it being an attached file, and it can analyze that information, and it can do it instantly. So these connectors are wonderful options that we can have, but sometimes we have to be careful with some of them. We also could be connecting to things like our Google Drive. We could be connecting to SharePoint, etc. I'll show you where these are located at and how these work. Technically not how they work, but I'll show you where you access these so that if you decide you would like to connect, I'll show you how you go and do that. You can also have, for advanced users, you can actually have custom connectors also. So if you want to be connecting to a specific application, custom connections can be created as well. So we want to be thinking about, what should we connect to? So we've had the capability prior to be able to connect to, we could attach a file, have it analyze the file. But there are more and more apps that are being added to our list of available options to connect to. We can have a direct connection to GitHub, HubSpot, Slack, to Gmail. So we can generate and send responses and push updates and get summaries all through these direct connections with these applications. So think about the applications that you use and think about how this can help you now. So a lot of people use HubSpot. A lot of people use Slack, Gmail, those kind of applications. Imagine having those connected directly with ChatGPT. This is where the shivers come into play, and it's like, oh my gosh, 6 months ago, would I have expected this? Well, the way as quickly as things are moving, I guess I did expect it. I guess I wouldn't be surprised what else we can do. But the apps list that we can connect to now really is growing. Now you're going to see, I can't demonstrate it because I don't have the connection, but I'll show you a video very quickly of how we actually can connect and pay directly through ChatGPT as well. So when you see things like Target, Uber, All Trails, I use All Trails, I used DoorDash. These are huge to me that we're going to be able to directly connect to these. Now, as you can see, it's talking about the apps can respond with you using a natural language. So we can actually be talking through ChatGPT to these other applications. So the days of us going to your phone and just going directly to that app, that's going to be going away. I can see that we won't be doing that. If you're already logged into that account and you're in your ChatGPT, you can be actually doing those things directly through ChatGPT without having to go to another place to do Uber, to go to another place to do Target. There's specific partners that they're working with, pilot partners, bookings.com, Canva, Coursera. I keep saying that name wrong. Sora. I keep saying it wrong. I'll just leave it. Expedia is a big one. They've always had, if you think back, we've always had connections to a couple of these, but not the way that we are working with these apps now. It is like night and day difference. The connections that we used to have through a GPT before, yeah, we could have it go out to their website and look the information up, but take that a lot further. Not only are we able to directly be connected with their website, but we can actually be ordering products, their services, directly through Copilot. I'm sorry, through ChatGPT. Okay. So let me kind of give you an example. If I go into, just to show you what I'm referring to, if I go into ChatGPT, first off, just so you know, I wanted to point out what license I have and what licenses are available. And this is in your handout as well. But the pricing structure, there still is a free version, of course, of ChatGPT. There's nothing wrong with that free version. It is using GPT-5, so it is using the latest model. There is a plus version and there is a pro version. You can see that, of course, the plus version is $20 a month. That's the license that I personally have, where these are the features that I have available to me. I have Codex agents, but I don't have other agents because agents are different depending on which license you have a little bit. But there's a pro version for $200 a month that gives you additional features. So everything from free carries over to plus, everything from plus carries over to pro, where pro gives you the best full access to ChatGPT. There also is business versions. So your organization can actually get business licenses where they can be paying $25 per month for each user that they want to have a license. There's enterprise versions as well. So if you have 500 people that you want to be using ChatGPT, you want to talk to the sales department, they can help you out with licensing so that you can get the best licensing options for your organization. But each one is going to give you, of course, different features, different enhancements that you are going to be able to use. When you are in the app, so once you do have an account and you're logged into the app itself, on the left-hand side is your menu bar. You can see that you could start a new chat from there. You could search your chats. We have a library, which I'll talk a little bit about. We have the Codex option because of the license that I have. I have Codex, not available in free. We do have access to our GPTs, and we do have access to projects, which has been out for quite a while now. Then, of course, you're going to see the history of my chat. Down to the bottom where you're going to have access to your actual profile where you can get into different settings. And I will take you into different settings. Right now I'm going to click on my profile. I won't take you into every setting, but when you come into your profile, this is where if you wanted to actually upgrade your plan. So if you had free and you want to upgrade to the plus version, which I would highly recommend, it's definitely worth 20 bucks a month. Here's where you could just quickly and easily upgrade to it. So just so you know, this is a great place to go. Also, it has help from here. In the Help Center, you can access what's coming up and what's new and those kind of pieces of information as well. But on the right-hand side is where, of course, you're going to be doing your chat. What I really like about this is it's a very clean menu. It's not giving you a bunch of additional things that we don't always need. We want to just go and talk to the system. But before I do that, at the top left of this right-hand side of the screen, it says ChatGPT 5. It is using GPT-5 automatically. That's explained a little bit better, of course, in your handout, but it's on auto by default. So it has different modes to the model, where it's on auto, where it decides how long to think. We can have instant mode where it's going to answer immediately. Now, depending on what it is that you're chatting with, it may be thinking because it's doing this deep reasoning. It may take a moment for it to answer what it is that you're asking of it. We also have this thinking mini where it also is going to respond quickly. It thinks and responds quickly. We have thinking where it's going to think longer for better answers, and I could upgrade to the Pro. You do have access to your legacy models, but to be honest, I would never go back to a legacy model. These are the older models. I don't know why I would ever go back, and I'm surprised that they are actually still here and still available for us to go back. Because when we think of 4 is an older version, therefore it doesn't have the most recent information up to October 1st of 2024. It's got older information that it was taught. So I don't know why you'd go back, but just so you know, it is available there to do so. Now, one of the things about chatting is that we have enhanced voice mode and conversation features. So we've always had, not always, but recently they've given us the ability to be able to talk directly with ChatGPT. You can basically have a conversation on your phone with the app. I don't have that here to demonstrate with you, but you could. You could just go into your app on your phone. You could have a conversation with Copilot. It can talk back to you, those kind of things. Well, the language has definitely been enhanced. It's got a smoother tone. It does faster replies. Plus, it has cross-device syncing. So if you start chatting with it on your desktop through an internet browser or a tablet or whatever, you can actually continue that conversation on your mobile device. I see people do that all the time. My sister actually does that. She was looking up a trip that she was doing, and yes, she booked her trip directly through ChatGPT. Using it, she started on her computer, but they were going on to the store or whatever, and she continued using it on her mobile device. She was telling me how fantastic that was. And it has more of a real conversation tone that it's actually using. So that feature is one of the enhancements that we've had recently. So where that is used, if you're in the app online, just so you're aware of where that's located at, you have a microphone. Anytime you see a microphone, that's where you can actually go to talk to it. It has different voice modes that you can access over here on the right-hand side. I just clicked on that icon, and you can see that it automatically opens this voice mode. I can click on this to turn my microphone off. I can actually click the end right here, but it is actually listening to me right now, just so you know. I'm going to click my back arrow here real quick and go back to my Copilot. Oh, I'm sorry, my ChatGPT. I say Copilot and ChatGPT all the time, so I get them interchanged. Sorry about that. But just so you could see, I could talk to it just by going straight to the microphone icon, and you can just talk directly with it. It's a lot quicker than typing things in. So you could just say them directly to the system. So definitely made some enhancements to that. It's a wonderful feature. You've got to give that a try to do that cross-device sync. That's pretty cool to watch that. So enhanced mode is great. But we also have a Canvas collaboration and visual workspaces that you could be using as well. So if you are a developer, this is a great place for you to use. You can use this Canvas to help yourself and others because you could share all this. Um, it has enhanced capabilities, sharing capabilities, that it has this collaboration canvas. So it's a place that you can go in and you can be writing your code. You could be doing brainstorming on what your code needs to be. You can have connections with a Word document all incorporated into this canvas. You can be exporting information from your canvas into a Word document, into Google Sheets, wherever you need it to go. And it has real-time editing capabilities built right in. It is part of the tools when we go into Copilot, so I will show you that here when I go into the tools, which I'll get to that here in just a moment. It also has version control, so you can easily undo the changes that you had done from previous documentation through that canvas. So I'll show you where that's located at in just a moment. Before we get to that, some of the features that are enhanced or available within the new ChatGPT 5 that we have available are reliant upon the memory. Now, if we think about memory, there's a lot of features built into ChatGPT that are memory related. Memory is now available in free, it's in plus, it's in the team version, it's in the enterprise version. Memory is a powerful feature, and it's even more flexible than it's ever been before. We have cross-conversational presence available. We have personalization, where it can even learn formatting, writing styles, as well as tone that you use regularly. Whether you're formatting reports or whatever your case might be. Context, it can recall context that you had previously been chatting with. It has privacy controls. We can be turning things on and turning things off. I'll show you where this is located at, where you can change these settings. It's got adaptive suggestions. So it takes the memory of what it is that you've been chatting with and what you've told the system, and it can proactively recommend workflows, queries, or shortcuts that can be tailored to how you're using the system. This, to me, sometimes scares me that it can do all this, but as you chat with the system, it is using the memory to memorize what it is that your patterns are like. So I'll show you where this is kind of stored and how you can manage this. So it has automatic memory management built in. ChatGPT now prioritizes recent and your frequently used memories. It's moving less relevant ones more towards the background of it. It has search and sort capabilities. It has the user control where we can view, prioritize, or deprioritize, and restore memory versions right within our settings. So let's see an example, or talk about an example of using this. So if we mention a time zone and we're talking about scheduling a meeting, it will remember that time zone. If we have information that, dietary restrictions is one. Actually, I had somebody talking about that about 2 weeks ago. They were talking about the fact that they were looking for things that were gluten-free. And when they went back into ChatGPT, it was giving them all gluten-free recipes that they were using. It was like unbelievable. And so you have to always remember that in the background, it's remembering what it is that you were talking about. So good and bad when we talk about the memory. But how does this actually work? We have control over a couple of the settings with memory, and I'll show you in a second where these are located at. But it has reference saved memories, where these are your details that we have asked GPT to remember. We can have things like our name, our favorite color, dietary preferences. If you book, like if you're asking for information, because if you travel a lot for your job and you want it to be looking up travel information, you could be letting it know that your preference is this specific airport code. You like an aisle seat. You want to be on an airline that has these benefits. It can remember all of those. These are things that we want to truly be taking advantage of in ChatGPT. It has chat history. So when we're chatting with it, it actually can keep certain parts of that in its memory. Like, for example, if you once said that you liked Thai food, it will actually put that in its memory. And when it comes back and you say, what should I have for lunch? It's going to recommend Thai food because you've previously been chatting about Thai food, or you could have told it that your favorite is Thai food. So when you stop and think about how that all works, it's pretty amazing. But ChatGPT doesn't remember every detail from your past chats. It uses this saved memory for anything you want it to always keep in mind. We'll see where that's stored. Sorry, I have a tickle. So where we access this, by the way, is when you are in ChatGPT. If you go to your profile at the bottom left, go to the profile at the bottom left of your menu, go into this personalization. You really want to run through all of the personalization options, the notifications. Under general, you get some theme options, and you've also got voice control there as well. But under the personalization, you can enable customization, I should say. You can have, it's got a default personality that it uses. You can put in custom instructions, which helps it to chat with you. If you wanted to say that you always want a professional level, you want it to be a straight shooter, you want it to be encouraging, you're a Gen X person, whatever. Nicknames, what do you want it to be calling you? You could be putting in what you want it to call you so that when you're chatting with the system, it knows this. You could put in your occupation, more information about you. But here's your memory options, by the way. Reference saved memories, I have turned on. Reference chat history, I do have turned on as well. There's learn more that you may want to go into as well. But there's a manage option up here at the top. When you go into that manage option, any of your saved memories, you can search your memories. Any of your saved memories will be here, and then you can manage if you want it to forget it. So it's going to have menu options. I don't have any in my saved right now because I haven't told ChatGPT to save any of those because I can talk to it and tell it to save these. But this is where you can come to set these up. Now, while I'm in here, I'm going to talk about a couple of other things. Also, apps and connectors. So when I was mentioning the apps and connectors, this list is going to grow, and it's supposed to grow by the end of the year. So right now, I can say I want it to connect to bookings.com, Canva, Spotify, which actually I do want to connect to bookings. So if I go to bookings, I can click connect. Just so you can see, it's automatically connecting to bookings. If I click connect to bookings.com, just so you can kind of see, you would go in here and do that. You can see it now says bookings.com is connected. You can always come back and say you can disconnect it. But back to the apps and connectors, I'm going to click my back arrow here. If I have a Zillow, I want to do Spotify, I can connect to those. So these are apps, and that list is going to continue to grow. Target, those kind of things are all going to be added on here. But here's those connectors I was mentioning. I could connect directly to my Gmail account so that I could say, create an email in my Gmail, and it can actually do that. But be careful. What does your AI policy say? Are you allowed to do these connectors? It can connect to your Outlook calendar. It can connect to your SharePoint. Microsoft Teams has now been added. Slack was just added. So some of these were here, but a lot of these were just added. So just so you know, a lot of these were just added. I got to tell you, this is awesome. This is got to be on the top of my list of things that, because I can just connect to my SharePoint and say, I want to go to this SharePoint file in this SharePoint site. I don't have to attach the file. I can have it be directly connected instead. And the email capabilities, when we talk about that, or we want it to be a Word document or we want it to be a Google Sheets, you can have that direct connection to these. So this is where you would go to set those up, just so you're aware. Also, there's a feature I'll be mentioning here in a second about orders. If you use the orders capability, because you are set up with a merchant that you can purchase through that merchant, you will be able to come in here and see any orders that you have placed through your ChatGPT. We also have data controls. Most of this has been there before. Access to your security. Also, now they've enhanced parental controls. This is in your handout as well, but we'll run out of time before I get to absolutely everything. But I want to mention this because of course, if you've probably seen this in the news, there were some lawsuits against ChatGPT. So now there is safeguard methods built in to ChatGPT. So if you are using this on a personal level at home, you can monitor what's happening with your children. Okay, I'll leave it at that for right now. I'm so happy to see that built in. But the memory capabilities that are built into ChatGPT are fantastic. Take advantage of those features. But remember the security side of everything that we talk about, because you do need to make sure that you aren't putting things out there that is confidential information, because it does use some of your data for certain learning options. You can see that it is, the last bullet here is important, I think. They don't use your content to market the services or create advertisement profiles to you. So it's not going to start showing you ads and things like that, like other social media type places can do. So always keep the security side in mind. Now there's also a new feature that's been added as we kind of talk about these, what can we do kind of things. A new feature is called a library, where if you are doing a lot of images, this would be a great feature for you to use. It's a new menu option on the left-hand side. I use the projects all the time, but the library can actually be used as well for image generation. You can go into the library, tell it what type of image you want it to create, which of course it can also create video based on your description. You've probably seen some of those out in social media. And instead of digging through all your past chats to find images and stuff, you can have this library to collect these images. You can then have easy retrieval, easy to go back to an image and reuse it or edit an image. So this is a place where it's not storing files where you might think with the word library, but it's actually storing your images. So just so you know that we have this new library, I'll show you where that's located when I go back to the actual site for that, when I go back to Copilot. But before I do that, I don't want to run out of time before I show you this. This is my number one new feature that I absolutely love. So if you like to shop, and you want to shop through your ChatGPT, I can't demonstrate this, but I love this video and I'm only going to show you part of this, but let me play this.
Check this out. Remember when we told you that ChatGPT was about to roll out in chat checkout? Well, it's here. And it's even bigger than we expected. So your customers can now buy straight from ChatGPT. No website, no cart, no redirect, just chat, click, and you're done. I'm going to show you exactly how it works, why it matters, and 3 actionable steps that you can take right now to start taking advantage as a dropshipper.
Now, I'm not going to go through that full video. There are quite a few videos that I did find. I just really liked this one. This guy is very good at what he does on this video. But I got to tell you, this is a pretty great feature. Here's a little bit about how the instant checkout works. This is all in your handout too, by the way. So it will have the products. And not every merchant out there is available for checkout. They keep having more and more customers that are signing up, but there is a small fee. So the merchant pays a small fee for each transaction. The service to us is free. Okay, so when that video, that short video that I was just showing you, was talking about you can actually do that right through ChatGPT, it is currently using Stripe only, I think. I know they're adding other ones. I can't remember if they added any of the other options right now, but you would have to have an account set up to be able to pay directly through that. It's going to be enhancing this. This is a newer feature, so of course it's going to blow up here because people are super excited about this, but you'll be able to use other ways to pay here. They keep adding more and more to this, but I got to tell you, that's going to be a great feature, and you're going to be using that moving forward as probably your number one way to look up something and then be able to buy it directly from there without having to go to Best Buy, go to Target, go to wherever your store is that you buy things from. You can do it right through your ChatGPT instead. When it comes to when I go back into the ChatGPT app itself, the tools menu has definitely been enhanced. This is a description of when we go to the chat, it has a plus sign. It used to have a tools icon, which that just came out not too long ago. They've already changed it to just really kind of do this plus sign now. But this is where you can go to add photos and files that you wanted to analyze, unless you're now connected to your data source, like your Google Drive, you're connected to your SharePoint, you're connected to Teams, etc. You could get your files and things directly from there. Otherwise, you can still do it this way. It also has deep research. So if you needed to do some deep analysis for you, you can actually go into the deep research mode from here. You can go in and have it create an image through here. We can go into agent mode. I have more information about agents and this new agent kit in your handout as well, because there's a new agent kit available. Only available to specific licenses though. Agents is like an add-in. I think of it as an assistant to ChatGPT because it can be built to help us with our prompting. It can be built to help us with customer service, with sales, etc. It's like a assistant to the actual our assistant, ChatGPT. But we won't get into all those details today. I'm sure we'll have a session just on those so that we can take those a lot further. But we can add sources, so if we have specific sources we want to be referencing. Otherwise, under the more category is study and learn. We can do web searches, or that's where we can also access that canvas that I was mentioning earlier, which is great for people that are developers, for coders, that kind of thing, that they can go in there and access these. Depending on your version, you may also see direct connection from that menu under the More category to directly connect to OneDrive or SharePoint from there as well. And I think Google Drive is being added to that. I don't have that enhancement just yet. I can still go to my profile to do that connection though. Okay, so where is this located at? Well, that's back out on our ChatGPT. If you go to this plus sign, this is where you will find add the file. So if you want it to reference a file to give you a summary of information or create a report, those kind of things. Under that more category, as I had mentioned, here's where you can access those others. Because I am connected to bookings, bookings of course is on my list already. Because I connected to it, it's automatically here. So if I do go back and connect to any others, they will be conveniently located here. And what happens then, just so you can see how it's going to work, is if I come to this plus, I hesitate on more and I click bookings, it's if I do my chatting, it's going to automatically use bookings. So looking for a hotel in Seattle for a business conference that can hold 2,000 people. It's going to use bookings.com to do that. Just so you know, it's like how we started with the GPTs, but it's connecting directly with the app now, more so than it ever could have before. It's bringing exactly the bookings.com site in. Isn't this cool? So get connected. Do those connectors. So anyway, it's showing, and I didn't put in enough detail on my prompt when I did that, but just so you could see what it brought back. I just wanted to briefly show you that. So do the connectors from your profile, go into personalized, do the connect apps and connectors, and then you'll have access to this now as well. It's unbelievable. But another feature that I want to mention and show you how it uses is actually branching. This is genius. I think this is a great option. I don't know if you do a lot of chatting and then your chat becomes so long. We can now use this new branching feature where we can have multiple conversation threads out of one chat. So it's like layered thinking. It can actually use all of the branched conversations that you are doing. And how it shows up is when you are chatting with the system. I have one that I was doing the other day. So I started out with this business trip to Dallas. And so just so you could see, I started out way up here and I said, we are planning a business trip, blah, blah, blah. Here's the dates, how many people, we're going to need ground transportation, all this. I gave it the details of what it is that I needed, and it started looking through all this. I wasn't using bookings.com at the time either. I wasn't connected to anything. So this is the information that it gave me. But then later on, I realized I actually needed more information, and I can actually do branching. So here's the branch that was a part of the first chatting that I was doing. When you are in that chat and you're looking at the sources, so at the bottom here, I have these sources. Go to this menu, the ... menu at the bottom of your list. That's where you can branch to a new chat. When you click that branch to a new chat, you can actually start a new chat that is going to be connected to this chat. On the left-hand side, what it actually does then is it shows it as a branch to that other chat. So if you start getting, you're still on the same subject, but like with a business trip, now I wanted to talk specifically about these subjects, but it's still related to that. So it's like a sub-subject of your main subject. I think that is a genius feature. I just love that. I have been using that now since I noticed that I had it available. I didn't know that it was here. I happened to just click on the menu one day and it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I started using the branching and I just absolutely love it now. I have quite a few branched conversations. So definitely something you want to be checking out. But anyway, definitely use that. In your handout, you're going to find some information about ChatGPT Pulse, which is something new for pro users that came out in 2025. As you can see, designed to provide proactive updates and personal insights. Got a few different pieces of information where you have visual cards that you can use to do summarizations of news and different things like that. Back in July, they launched ChatGPT Agents. Agents, as I said, is an enhancement, kind of like an assistant to ChatGPT itself. They are expanding what can be done with with agents within ChatGPT, but like it says, expands the role of going to be assistant to a coworker. So it's no longer just going to be there just to help you. It's actually going to be a part of your experience direct through ChatGPT. So I don't have time to go through all of those, unfortunately, because we're already running out of time. I could spend all day talking to you about what's been enhanced or what's coming out new, but still coming. And some of these have been released since I created this, but new connectors, Teams is already. That just came out the other day. Teams was added to our list. Notion Salesforce is coming out as well as a connector option. I know a lot of people use Salesforce, so that is terrific that it's going to be one of the connectors that we can use. In your handout, there's more information about this, but there's now another level of ChatGPT. It's called Go. There is an expansion pack that has been added to that. It's kind of like in between Plus and Free. Only available to specific countries, but they are adding more and more countries to be available to that. There will be an agent store. It's already been launched in beta, so it's still kind of in a testing mode, but that will be released here shortly to the public. Other features that are supposed to be coming out yet this month, some of these are already here, like the deep research connector, that's already been in the enhanced voice mode. I did read the other day, though, that there's more coming to the voice mode here. It's like they forgot something, or I can't remember how the article read, but there's more coming by the end of the year. There's going to be consistent changes to the memory improvements, the agents, and they're making changes to the file upload size limits that we have available as well. If you're using the projects feature, there is some size limit capabilities with that. But what can we expect moving forward into 2026? I do have some websites, by the way, at the end of your handout that will give you links to this information that I provided. But there's a lot of things that are going to be happening in 2026. They will continue to evolve, and they're calling this a super assistant that we will have available in ChatGPT. 6 is going to be coming out, and they're claiming that it's going to actually be out yet in 2025. But I read another article the other day that really said GPT-6 won't be out until the first part of the year in 2026. But you never know. If they're ready with it, if AI itself is ready for 6 to come out, it might come out. But just keep in the back of your mind, 5 just got released in August. Yeah, I think it's kind of quick that they're already going to give us a 6. So I'm not real sure about that. I've been reading some articles, but this is the current information that I was able to find. So it's going to have even more enhanced reasoning, advanced memory system, and better user customization is what we have coming in 2026, or with specifically the GPT-6. Wow, Matthew, that was a lot.